What does the tarot hold in store for your astrological sign this February? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of the award-winning Fearless Tarot and the brand new Tarot in Love, consulting the cards and matters of the heart in time for Valentine's Day and available everywhere books are sold. It is time for this month's Tarot Scope. I'm going to go through every astrological sign, starting with Aries and ending with Pisces, and I'm going to give each sign a tarot message. There's these convenient little timestamps at the bottom of your screen of which you can quickly scroll to your message. And if you want an even more nuanced reading, you might also want to listen to the astrological message for your moon sign and your rising sign as well. So without further ado, let's go into the astrological message for February 2023, starting with the sign of Aries. First card for Aries is where it's best for them to place their focus this next month. And we actually get the Death card, which can represent change, transformation. The Death card can scare people. Number one, because it's called death and we're afraid of that. But number two, because death really does represent a change that's permanent. There's a sense that there's a threshold in front of Aries this next month. And once you cross it, there's no going back. The Death card can tell you that even though there is this major change happening, that might even cause a feeling of fear. You need to be reminded that on the Death card, always in that horizon, is the sun that's rising again. And what that represents is that with every ending, there's always a new beginning. So for Aries this month, this could be a time of finishing the job, completing a cycle, or also bravely stepping over that threshold that you've been really nervous about or weighing or afraid to do. And be assured that the rebirth is imminent. Whenever we see the Death card, it's really indicating that there's major personal transformation on the line right now, and you want to move forward with courage despite your fear. Second card for Aries is going to be advice from your inner wisdom to help you with the changes that are ahead for February. And we actually get the Knight of Wands, which is another figure on a horse. But the Knight of Wands has more of a spirit of adventure. So although we see this first card with the Death card kind of causing some dread, we get the adventurous Knight of Wands on the other side as advice from your inner wisdom to tell you to treat the change in front of you as a brand new adventure, something that you should get excited about. Also, the Knight of Wands has the pyramids of Egypt behind him on the card. So this could be a time when you're trying something new, different, foreign, or exploring a new area in order to find your breakthrough. Both of these cards are also associated with moving or major change. So whatever's in the cards for you this next month for Aries, it's really important that you're cooperating with the change and also that you're encouraging it, that you're willing. Death and the Knight of Wands will drag you kicking and screaming through this transformation, or you can cooperate with them and greet them as friends and find that this actually ends up leading you towards a happy new beginning. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Taurus. So if you're a Taurus or have a lot of Taurus in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus in February 2023. And here we see the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords shows the quintessential damsel in distress. She's tied up. She's been abandoned. She's feeling overwhelmed by her present circumstance. She's waiting for that hero to swoop in and rescue her, and no one's coming. And so what the Eight of Swords can really represent is toxic passivity, where we're just waiting for someone else to give us permission or to save the day or to give us the go-ahead, and no one's really giving us that. Although the woman's situation on the Eight of Swords looks bleak, with the tarot you always have to look closer. Because look at her, she's literally inches away from these sharp swords. She could rub those bindings that are tying her up against those swords and run for safety. The Eight of Swords teaches us that the swords, which represent our thoughts, our thinking, the element of air, can either keep us trapped and stuck, or they can be repurposed to be the tools of our liberation. So for Taurus, whatever fear is tying you up in knots this next month, it's important that you're not passive with it, but instead that you're proactive. It's also important to free yourself from any mental ruts that have been keeping you limited, scared, or stuck. The Eight of Swords is telling you you can be free, but you have to do the job yourself. The second card for Taurus is going to be advice from your inner wisdom to help for you this next month of February. And we actually get the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords can indicate that this is a time psychologically that is really causing a lot of stress or worry. However, the Nine of Swords, if you look at it, shows a figure who's alone in a room in his bed. He's not actually in any danger. Again, as I was saying with the Eight of Swords, the Nine of Swords can indicate your thoughts, your thinking, where you're placing your focus. And what makes the Nine of Swords such a difficult card is it affects our perspective. What the Nine of Swords is telling you from your inner wisdom for Taurus is that you're needing to call your fear out for what it is. It's in your head. It's an illusion. It may keep you feeling stuck or scared or limited, but all Swords cards carry powerful magic in them. They really teach us where we're putting our thoughts, and they remind us that what we focus on is what we're manifesting. So with both of these cards, it's time to come out of isolation. It's also time to come out of the dark of your fear. I find the best antidote for the Nine of Swords is sunlight. And so what I feel is that this is a time to talk about your fear, Taurus. Seek support emotionally if something's really troubling you. And really identify what's truly going on behind the scenes that's causing the worry instead of just going into a spiral. The next sign we're going to go into is the astrological sign of Gemini. So if you're a Gemini or have a lot of Gemini in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best to place your focus for February. And we get the Hangman card. And the Hangman is a card of sacrifice. In fact, as we look at the Hangman, he's suspended. He's not able to move forward at this time. His hands are tied behind his back, and he's hanging by one foot upside down. The upside down position can represent looking at something from a different or alternate perspective. This might also be a time to approach something in a new way. The Hangman card can also indicate that something that you're really hoping to see progress is suspended for this moment for good reason. There's our timing, and then there's Spirit's timing. And the Hangman can really tell you that by submitting yourself to the sacrifice of your time, your energy, towards your larger goal, and also looking at your situation from an alternate viewpoint or perspective, great wisdom is going to occur. The Hangman can also just represent those times when you just can't move forward. Your hands are tied behind your back and you're needing to wait. So for Gemini, I really feel this is a time to sit back and to observe, to look at your situation from a different perspective, and maybe even consult with somebody else for that alternate perspective if you're not able to see it clearly. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Gemini, for February is actually the Ten of Cups. And this is the card of happy endings. We see the happy family and the two children dancing, and there's a rainbow in the sky. But don't be fooled, because the rainbow only appears after a storm. Although the Ten of Cups can look very idyllic, it can look like it's a wonderful new beginning, it's also a card that can indicate that there has been a challenge that you've had to overcome. And this is a card that really says that in the end, with the sacrifices you're making with the Hangman, there is a rebirth assured and also a message of hope. Also, the Ten of Cups is long associated with family or home. So this could be a time when your hands are tied with something in the family. You can't really do much to change or affect things, and yet you're just needing to stop, observe, wait, and get the information to know what to do. Also, Ten of Cups is just a reassuring card anytime we see it, and it might tell you to look toward the autumn, look toward the fall, because that's when things get resolved. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Cancer. So if you're a Cancer or have a lot of Cancer in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for February. And we actually get the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands can indicate that this is a time to lighten up. If you're a Cancer, it could be really stressful leading up until this time. Perhaps January was a really heavy lift for you. And so Cancer, this is going to be a month where you really want to enjoy yourself. It might also be a time to socialize or schedule some time for some relaxation. The Four of Wands has no other message to it other than remember what fun feels like. Remember what it's like to laugh or enjoy yourself. Maybe you've been too isolated and it's time to connect with the people that you hold most dear. The Four of Wands is also telling you to lighten up. If you've been taking things too seriously, it's time to let go of some of that gravity. The next card is going to be advice from your inner wisdom if you're a Cancer for the month of February. And the card we see here is the Ten of Wands. And this is showing that although we have the levity of the Four of Wands, it's for good purpose because there is something heavy on your shoulders, Cancer. There is still a job to do. You're almost at the finish line. And anytime we look at this Ten of Wands card, it shows the figure that's just about to cross that threshold. However, we don't want to sugarcoat the Ten of Wands. There is a lot on this figure's shoulders. He's making a lot of sacrifices for the manor house in the distance, which can indicate that this is a time of service. Maybe some of the actions you're taking, Cancer, aren't really just all about you. They're about the people that are depending on you, or this could even just be for family. Either way, what you're going to want to do is inject some of that levity of the Four of Wands into your tasks. This is going to be a very busy month. It's very intense. You're almost at the finish line. And what's going to really help you out is if you're able to lighten up and to bring some levity to the situation. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Leo. So if you're a Leo or have a lot of Leo in your chart, the first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for February 2023. And the card we see here for Leo is the Two of Swords. This is the card of in between. We see the woman who's in between the sky and the sea. She's in between the new moon and the full moon. And she's also balanced between the two swords. The Two of Swords can indicate that you're coming out of a period of your life where you've been in one role and you're preparing for another. And yet you haven't quite arrived yet. You're still kind of in this amorphous middle place. The Two of Swords can just indicate that this is a time for Leo to really be patient with what's in between for you. Also, that moon on the card in Latin is luna, where sometimes we get our word lunatic from. And what this can indicate is that if you're allowing your fears or shadows to affect how you're perceiving this in-between time, you can start to feel like things are uneasy, that you're walking on a tightrope, or that there's some anxieties that are getting triggered. And so the advice of the Two of Swords is to follow the example of the female figure in the center of the card. She's blindfolded, meaning she can't see what's going to happen next, but she's completely serene. She's calm, she's centered, she's looking within for the answer. So for Leo, I just think this is going to be a month of transitions for you. And you just want to be patient as you're fully coming into your power into this next important phase. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Leo for February, is actually the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups shows a figure who's under the tree and he's worrying about his problems. He's thinking about the past. He's stressed about the future. And he's not seeing that right in front of his nose is a miracle. There's a hand coming out of the cloud offering him a golden cup, but just now he can't see it. Sometimes the message of the Four of Cups is that the solution you're looking for is right in front of your nose. This card can also come up when you're forgetting that you're protected, that you have angels or guides or even ancestors that are looking down on you and that are offering you the gift. The Four of Cups can just indicate that it's time to get out of your head and instead look around you at the blessing that's being offered. To worry is easy. It's so simple to just get into a rut and then mentally ruminate. This card is really telling you to come up for air, to look around you, to get out of your head, out of your house, and into the world, and see the blessings that are trying to find their way toward you. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Virgo. So if you're a Virgo or have a lot of Virgo in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best to place your focus for February 2023. The card we get here is the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles shows a miser on the card, and he's clutching these 4 coins, thinking if he hangs onto these coins, he's going to be stable or secure. And yet, when we look at his face, he's actually miserable. Sometimes the message of the Four of Pentacles is the thing that you're hanging on to so tightly right now for security, the thing that's stressing you out or causing the worry, is actually an impediment to you hearing your heart or connecting with your spirit. This could also be a time when you're taking a mental inventory of all that you're carrying with you on your path, Virgo, and you're asking yourself, does this hold value to me anymore? Is this important for me? So I really feel like this is going to be a month where you want to take that inventory and do some sorting. Let go of the things that have become burdensome and instead place your focus on the things that you truly value. On a very mundane level, the Four of Pentacles can also represent a month where you just want to be a little bit more cautious financially. So maybe February isn't the time to splurge or to make a big ticket item purchase. Next is the advice from your inner wisdom if you're a Virgo for February, and we get the King of Cups. And whenever I look at this card, I think of the word anchor. The King of Cups is anchored. Even amidst the swirling waves, which can represent heavy emotions or feelings, the King of Cups is solid. He's not swept away by them. There's even an anchored ship behind him. And so I feel the advice from your inner wisdom, Virgo, is to get grounded, to get anchored, to also take care of your emotions, not by getting swept up in them, but by using them as fuel to get to your destination. The King of Cups can also call your attention to the house or to the home. And so it might be a time to look around. If you're tolerating messy or sloppy energy or something that's just become overwhelming, maybe it's time to clear it out. Both the King of Cups and the Four of Pentacles have a component to them that has to do with releasing emotional baggage. So this could be just the time to let go of all that's become too heavy for you. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Libra. So if you're a Libra or have a lot of Libra in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus. And we got the Seven of Pentacles, which is the card that has the most associated with the word that no one wants to hear in a tarot reading, which is patience. So Libra, a lot of your seeds have been planted. Like the figure on the card, you're watching your money tree grow, and yet it's not quite ready for harvest yet. And yet the figure's satisfied on the card. The efforts he's put forward are going to speak for themselves. And in time, that money tree is going to grow. And what this can indicate is that the thing you're investing in right now, Libra, even though it feels like it's been a slog and you've been waiting and you've been patient, it's still not ripe yet. The bread is baking in the oven, and if you try to eat it right now, it's not going to taste very good. And so what this card really encourages you to do is to focus on how much you have accomplished, to really affirm those things, and to be patient while the rest is baking. Also, the Seven of Pentacles promises reward. But like all successful Pentacles cards, there is this time constraint with it. There is a sense that it's going to take a time investment or that you're needing to be patient with this process. So I just feel like look toward harvest time, Libra. It may not be this month, but things are happening beneath the surface. Seeds are germinating, and soon you're going to get your reward. Next, we're going to go into the advice from your inner wisdom if you're a Libra for February, and we get the Hierophant card. And the Hierophant is the card of faith. It's a sacred card. Sometimes the message of this card is simply to reconnect with what's sacred for you. This card can also indicate, though, having faith in your process, in your project as it's growing, even though you can't see the end result. If we couple that Hierophant card with the Seven of Pentacles, whatever's growing in your garden, Libra, is growing beautifully. But you may not see the evidence for it right now. And yet that Hierophant is encouraging you to have faith in this process, to keep up with the daily tasks, to keep up with the work, because you will enjoy that reward. Also, make time to hear what is sacred for you. Even an atheist will agree going out in nature or witnessing something profoundly beautiful can be a transcendent experience and bring peace to your spirit. And so this is going to be a time for you to really make time for your spirit, to make time to connect with what's higher than you. And if whatever you're handling is too heavy, this might also be a time to surrender this to something bigger than you. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Scorpio. So if you're a Scorpio or have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, the first card is going to be where it's best to place your focus for February 2023. And we actually get the Ten of Swords reversed. Now, before you wince, the Ten of Swords reversed can represent coming out of a period where there's been some difficulties or struggling. As I was discussing earlier with the astrological sign of Taurus, swords in the tarot can represent our thoughts. On the Ten of Swords, we see a figure who's got all those swords in his back. And the swords go into his back because he's not facing them. He's not looking at them, and then they catch up with him. When the Ten of Swords comes up reversed, it could indicate that the thing you've been avoiding or not wanting to look at or have been trying to stay one step ahead of have caught up with you. And now is the time when dawn is breaking. At the bottom of the card of the Ten of Swords reversed, we see the light returning. And this could be a time when the black clouds are breaking, when hope is starting to make itself known. But we don't want to sugarcoat the Ten of Swords reversed. You've been through the ringer. This has been emotionally very stressful, and mentally it's caused some anguish up until now. Whenever I see the Ten of Swords upright or reversed, the question is, what needs to end? What is it time to walk away from? Maybe it's time to stop fighting in the trenches to preserve something, but instead it's time to walk away. But always with this card, there is a sense when it's reversed that the swords, out of gravity alone, would fall out of the back of this person. This is going to be the time to let go of whatever's been on your shoulders and to go through to the new dawn. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Scorpio for February 2023, is going to be the Page of Cups. And this card, coupled with the Ten of Swords reversed, can just indicate that you're a little bit more sensitive than usual, Scorpio. When the Page of Cups feels something, he feels it to the fullest. If you're normally registering emotions on a scale of 1 to 10 around a 5, the Page of Cups says everything's going to feel like a 15 this month. And yet, what the Page of Cups can also encourage us to do is to play. He is the archetype of the inner child of the tarot. This could be a time to let go of all this gravity, all this serious stuff, and to find something that brings you laughter or enjoyment. The Page of Cups also has that little fish that's whispering into his ear, which is a symbol for his own intuition. The fish knows the depths of the ocean. It knows where the sunken treasure is hidden. And I think if you're listening to your own instinct, Scorpio, you're going to find the treasure that awaits you. However, it's time to swim away from the challenges of the past, the endings that might have been so difficult. It's time to let the new dawn break, and it's also time to go into this with a willing and open heart. The Page of Cups is the symbol for innocence in the tarot, and this could just be a time when you want to look at your situation with new eyes. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Sagittarius. So if you're a Sagittarius or have a lot of Sagittarius in your chart, the first card is where it's best to place your focus this next month of February, and we actually get the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is the embodiment of what so much of humanity wants to be, which is confident, assured in your self-worth. Yet the Queen of Wands is a Wands card. Wands are like tree branches. They're constantly growing and budding and twining into new realities. And what this implies is that the Queen of Wands wasn't always so confident. The Queen of Wands has been called the actress of the tarot. And sometimes her message is that we have to fake it until we make it. Sometimes we have to put that intention out there and work toward it, even when it doesn't feel like it comes as second nature to us. So I'm feeling for Sagittarius, this is a time to expand, to grow, to branch into something new, but also to go forward confidently. So much of your life and so much of this month is going to follow your energy signature. And if you show up confident, ready to go, full of warmth, there is a sense that you're going to attract the right attention. The Queen of Wands can also tell you not to underestimate the power of your personal charisma to open doorways for you and to make opportunities appear. So I just think this is a time to turn your face toward the light, much like the sunflower that the Queen of Wands is holding, and to be confident in yourself. The next card is going to be advice from your inner wisdom for February. And the card we see here is the King of Pentacles. Something for Sagittarius is really going to go your way where career or work or long-term goals or plans are concerned. The King of Pentacles is a figure of achievement. He's also patient in his garden, and he allows things to grow slowly and surely. His robe is decorated with grapes, which are the most fickle things to cultivate, and yet he's patient with that. And so I think this is going to be a time for Sagittarius where you want to keep an eye on the long game. You want to be very practical and build towards your long-term goal, but you also want to infuse some enthusiasm in this, to remind yourself of what brings you passion and to get excited again as we're navigating through this next month. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Capricorn. So if you're a Capricorn or have a lot of Capricorn in your chart, the first card is where it's best to place your focus this next month, and we get the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands will represent a time where things are speeding up. Things are moving. There might be a lot on your shoulders this next month, Capricorn. However, although there is a speed up in the energy, the Eight of Wands shows all the wands parallel to one another. They're all like arrows in unison going toward their target. So for Capricorn, I think the best place to place your focus is on your target, on your priority. It's time to take all the scattered, disparate energy in your mind and heart and put it all toward that one target. You will meet your mark. Also, the Eight of Wands is the only card in the Rider-Waite Smith deck where there isn't a person or even the part of a symbolic person on the image. There's just these 8 sticks flying through the air. So this can tell you to not take this next month personally, even though the stress might amp up a bit, or there might be a little bit more on your shoulders. There's a lot more to do. It just looks like you want to detach from it and not really bring your emotions into it. Second card for Capricorn is going to be advice from your inner wisdom for February. And we get the Six of Wands. And this is a card of stepping into your excellence. The figure on the Six of Wands is crowned with the laurel crown. He's head and shoulders above the rest. And this is a card of promoting oneself, allowing people to see what makes you special, unique, what makes you shine. Also, 2 Wands cards can indicate this fiery, dynamic energy that's coming your way for February. And you want to take full advantage of it by stepping into this place of power. The Six of Wands can also tell you, Capricorn, to be very aware of what your body language is announcing. How much space do you take up when you're in public? Do you stand straight or do you slouch over? What's your facial expression like? These cards are really telling you to emit power and to feel confident in what it is that you're bringing to the table. Whenever we see that Six of Wands, this is just a good time to promote yourself and your ideals. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Aquarius. So if you're an Aquarius or have a lot of Aquarius in your chart, the first card is where it's best to place your focus for February. We actually get the Magician reversed. And when the Magician comes up reversed, he reminds you that your thoughts are magic spells. They're totally creating the reality you're experiencing. And when he comes up reversed, he could be telling you that you're forgetting what your thoughts are capable of doing. You're just letting them run on automatic. The Magician is telling you to be more mindful, to be present, to be engaged, and to not just kind of go through your life in your head as you're going unconsciously from task to task, but instead that you're really bringing your alert awareness to the present moment where your power truly is. Upright or reverse, the Magician is a master at manifesting. So this could be a time to get really clear on your goal. The Magician is also a card, when he's reversed, that could indicate a period where you're feeling a little shaky or a little less than confident. And it might be time to really restore your self-esteem, restore your sense of empowerment by focusing on those things that add to that sense of empowerment. So this is a time to be powerful and to really put your energy in the thing that feels most fulfilling, that makes you feel most confident in yourself, and that really puts some wind in your sails. Advice from your inner wisdom for this next month of February is actually the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles can indicate for you that this is going to be a time where you want to manage expectations. The Knight of Pentacles is in front of a brown field. It doesn't look like it's growing very much right now. And of all the knights in the tarot, the Knight of Pentacles is the only one who's on the horse that isn't moving forward at this time. And what this can indicate is that this is a time for you, Aquarius, where you've planted some seeds, but it may not feel like it's progressing or growing yet. The Knight of Pentacles, however, much like the Seven of Pentacles we were talking about earlier, is telling you to really allow yourself to reach into your heart, to reach into your spirit, and to be patient with the process as everything's growing. Also, the Knight of Pentacles can tell you to manage your expectations when it comes to other people, to not put too much stock or faith into what they're going to do, but to really see that the job is done independently by you. Finally, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Pisces. So if you're a Pisces or have a lot of Pisces in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best to place your focus. And we actually get the Judgment card. And Judgment is the card of rebirth and renewal. It can indicate that this is going to be a time for you, Pisces, where you're feeling like you're coming back to life. This is also the beginning of a new year for you. And so this could indicate that it's time to be willing and to really allow that rebirth to happen. Like the phoenix, you're rising out of the ashes. The angel of judgment blows the trumpet and all the dead rise out of the grave again to live anew. And what this could indicate is that this is the year, Pisces, where you really want to wake up the dead parts of your own heart, your own self, and really breathe new life into them. Be courageous and allow your spirit to ascend. And then the advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Pisces, for February, is the Fool reversed. And when the Fool comes up reversed, he indicates that this is going to be a month where you really want to take some risks. You also want to risk looking like a fool. If fear of failure or fear of looking stupid or anxiety is talking you out of your rebirth or your best opportunity, this is the month to stand up to it. It's also a time to reinvent yourself. And so I just think this is an important month for the sign of Pisces to really just go for it and to jump in. Also, the Fool has a little dog that's nipping at his heels, and dogs can be symbols for companionship, friendship. And so what this could also indicate is that if you're having some hesitancy at taking the plunge, you might want to consult with your support system, your friends, your closest family members, so that they can encourage you forward. And that is this month's astrological tarot scopes for every sign, starting with Aries, ending with Pisces. I hope you all have a safe and happy February. And if you did like this reading, you can always go to my website, elliotoracle.com, and schedule a one-on-one session with me there. I also have signed copies available of my classic book, Fearless Tarot, and my newest book, Tarot in Love. Also, if you want to follow me on social media, you can go to my Instagram, and the handle is Elliot Oracle. And I also hope that you like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it useful. Otherwise, I hope you all have a happy month, and I'll see you again next time.